So this notion of possibility is something that I think a lot of you have been asking about yesterday. I think somebody said, I've been thinking maybe I'll make $100,000 a month, but that's just ridiculous. A lot of you have had undertones of this as well. With this notion, I think one of the questions and one of the things we're really invested in as a group is for possibility not to just be some kind of inspiring idea, but for it to actually mean something to you so that you can act into it. And as I said yesterday, one of the things that we're doing, if we look at the next slide, is thinking about the brain as a bridge between you and your financial goals. And so when we think about possibility, one of the things I want you to be asking yourselves, and as I said yesterday, the most important conversation that you could be having is the conversation with yourself. If you can ask yourself these questions, if you can say, why do things seem impossible? How do you change this? And how do you get closer to your goals? I'm sure this is something that everyone's asking. And as we're thinking about this, I want you to be thinking, what are my goals? What feels possible? What feels not possible? Is there some way that I can think about possibility that's different from the way in which I've always thought about it? Today, what we're going to be talking about is the neuroscience of possibility and the notion of living an exceptional life. So, how many people here want to live an exceptional life? So pretty much everybody in this audience wants to live an exceptional life. I want you to just take what I'm about to say in very deeply, because this is the truth. By definition, an exceptional life is a life of low probability. It cannot be exceptional if it's high probability. By definition, exceptional means it's not the norm. So if you're using probability arguments, then you're saying, I want to live a life just like everybody else. If you want an exceptional life, we have to make a distinction between possibility and probability. And so when people think of impossibility, really what they're thinking about is the inability to conceive of or imagine a situation. Right? You simply cannot imagine it. The thought of making $100,000 a month is just impossible. Like, how can I get there? I've been stagnating at this place for several months now. How is it possible for me to actually change my life? Now again, I would like you to reflect back on the fact that if you want an exceptional life, really what you want is a life of low probability. Take that in, because what this should do, if you agree with that, by definition, is that it should eradicate all rational arguments. That take all your rational arguments and throw them out, because that's what probability is about. Which brings us to the next concept, which is that if we think about possibility, is possibility just a cognitive construct? This idea of inability to conceive of a situation, it's a fancy way to frame something. But for you to truly come to action, for you to make your goals happen, all of this cognition, all of this intellectual stuff needs to be converted into an experience. And possibility is really a state of consciousness. It is a way of being. Think about things that are distinct. Like when people are drunk, it's a state of consciousness. When they're on drugs, it's a state of consciousness. When they are in love, it is a state of consciousness. When they are in possibility, it is a state of consciousness. Being in possibility is a mental state. It is a feeling. You will actually feel what it is like to be in possibility. One of the things that I think is particularly interesting is, when John did the meditation this morning, one of the things that I wondered, how many of you experienced the fact that when you're in a meditation, there is no time and no space? So everybody has this experience that in a meditation, there is no time or space. There is a line in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali which states that there is no separation between your desire and your goal. They are only separated by time and space. When you want something, you imagine it's in the future, and when you want something, you imagine you have to go towards it. Well, when you're in meditation, there is no time or space, so the idea of it being in the future or having to move toward it is gone. The boundary between your desire and your goal is completely separated. So it's completely gone, which means that your desire and your goal are one. And what you have to do is uncover the obstacles that lead you to that particular path. So here's one frame in which you can understand this. In the next slide, what you'll see is that things get clearer as you get closer to your goal. For one simple reason, which is that when you are on this side of the mountain, if there is a pot of gold on the other side of the mountain, you simply can't see it. You are separated from it by time and space. And if I asked any of you, why is it that you think that you should not strive for $100,000 a month or $1 million a month? You would say, because it's just not realistic. Well, if you accept what I've said, if you accept that to have an exceptional life means a life of low probability, then let's throw away these notions of realism. Because if you want a realistic life, you can have a life that's the norm, and that's what you'll get. So most people, most of us, trust our perceptions, right? We trust the fact that what we see is what exists. There are only so many there's only so many billionaires. There are only so many types of people with a certain way of doing things. We believe what we see with our eyes. And I'm always astounded by the fact that we construct policies based on what we see. We make decisions about people we fall in love with based on what we see. We make decisions about the goals we want to have based on what we see. And my question to you is, why is it that we trust what we see?
Hey, this is John, and I hope you truly enjoyed that short little video clip. There's many more coming just like that. Now remember, the Brainathon's coming up soon, and so tell your friends and your family, and be sure that you click on the calendar below to schedule it if you haven't done so already. The 6-hour Brainathon is going to be something that you can watch and participate online, because we'll be doing Q&A as well. And myself and the other brain experts are going to show you how to release any of the self-doubts, insecurities, fear, embarrassment, shame, procrastination, or anything that may be holding you back, causing you to feel a lack of confidence or uncertainty. Now, all of this is ingrained in your deeply rooted beliefs and neural patterns that are now crippling, or at least holding you back from really achieving financial success and shattering the financial glass ceiling that you and everybody in the world has. And so get ready for an amazing Brainathon and look forward to more killer content from us.